The Cold War was a long period of tensions between the democratic Western world and the communist countries of Eastern Europe. The West was led by the United States, and the Eastern Europe was led by the Soviet Union. These two countries became known as superpowers. All two superpowers never officially declared war on each other. They fought indirectly in proxy wars and arms race and space race. The communist leaders was Joseph Stalin, Leonid Brezhnev, Mikhail Gorbachev, Mao Zedong, and Fidel Castro. The Western leaders was Harry Truman, Dwight Eisenhower, John F. Kennedy, Lyndon B. Johnson, Richard Nixon, Ronald Reagan, Margaret Thatcher. Because of this conflict, Europe was divided into two. The United States and his allies, who called the NATO, they evolved into a unified force of democracy, but was a capitalist allies, and the Warsaw, as a pact stood fast behind communists. By 1951, nearly every modern country had chosen a side between the two dominating forces. There were no really confrontation between the United States and the Soviet Union, but it was a confrontation between proxy wars. The superpowers often fought wars between countries that were supported by the other country. For example, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, the Yom Kippur War, and the Soviet Afghanistan War. The arms race and the space race in the Cold War was a fight between the United States and the Soviet Union trying to demonstrate their power and technology. One example of the arms race was each side trying to have the most and more devastating nuclear bombs. The idea was that a large stockpile of weapons would deter the other side from ever attacking. And the space race of each side was everything was trying to show that they have the better scientists and technology. For example, the Soviets sent the first human to space, but the United States sent the first humans to the moon. The difference between capitalism and communism is that capitalism, most things are privately owned, and everything is made to make a profit. The communist, in the other side, everything is made to be public owned, and everything is made for everyone. No profits for only one person. These were the major events in the Cold War. In June 24 of 1948, the Berlin airfield. The 6th of November of 1946, the creation of the Iron Curtain. In 7th April of 1948, the Marshall Plan. In the 4th of April of 1949, the forming of NATO. The 14th of May of 1955, forming of the Warsaw Pact. The 4th of October of 1957, Sputnik. The 1st of November of 1955, the Vietnam War. The 1st of May of 1960, the U-2 incident. The 13th of August of 1961, the creation of the Berlin Wall. The 17th of April of 1961, Bay of Pigs. The 5th of October of 1962, the Cuban Missile Crisis. The 9th, the 9th November, eh? The 9th November of 1989, the fall of the Berlin Wall, and December 26th of 1991, the dissolution of the Soviet Union. Now we're gonna go to an interview with an elementary school teacher. ¿Cuáles eran los países líderes durante esta época?
Estados Unidos y la Unión Soviética,
¿Por qué los países que eran aliados durante una guerra después se vuelven enemigos?
porque tenían los mismos enemigos pero o con objetivos diferentes cada país.
¿En dónde fue la Guerra Fría?
Pues realmente fue en todo el mundo, pero principalmente en Berlín.
¿Cuál era la opinión pública de las personas sobre la Guerra Fría?
Pues a nadie le gustaba la Guerra Fría, le tenían miedo a una bomba nuclear.
¿Cuál era el armamento que tenían los países en esta época?
Pues lo tenían de todos tipos, pero principalmente las armas nucleares.
For me, the Cold War was an event that demonstrated that the greed of the people can be uh, pushed to the limits, because these superpowers was eventually well, wanted to destroy half the world to complete their goals, and for me, the capitalism, the communism are both good, and I like more the communism because it has like a more pure idea, but I don't think that it's really gonna work because everybody's full of greed, and so I prefer the capitalism because it rewards more the people who make a better effort. Because in communism, a doctor can be the same as a guy who cleans the tables. In capitalism, no, because a doctor wins more than the guy that cleans the table. And a good example is, for example, Cuba now. A taxi is a communist country, and a taxi cab wins more than a doctor because a taxi cab wins of uh, the profits, and and the doctor no. So that's my opinion.